Well, today on Redacted, we've got an important conversation to share with you. I spoke this morning with Russian spokesperson Maria Zakharova. Now, she's the official spokesperson for Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin. And I'll say this, she didn't hold back. We covered the Russian economy, the war in Ukraine, Western propaganda, the jaw-dropping $200 billion fighter jet deal that Ukraine and the EU right now are trying to push through. So I want to give you kind of the full picture of what she told me and what other reporters who were there as well. So I started by asking her about the big phony narrative that you've probably heard everywhere in Western media, that Russia is running out of fuel and that their economy is in shambles. This story has been running around over the past few weeks, that Vladimir Putin's war machine may finally be running out of fuel. She laughed at that, of course. She called it completely fabricated. And according to her, Russia has been able to reroute its energy exports to new partners, China, India, the Middle East, and is doing just fine. She said that we in the West probably have no idea how massive the sanctions against Russia actually are, because that's largely been kept from us. She said they're coping and they've made new partnerships. And she said we've been coping really well. And she said, look, it's been difficult, but we've been coping. So she was open about that. She said, we are a resilient people. And she said, there's absolutely no fuel shortage. There's no truth to that. No crisis, no collapse happening inside of Russia. She said they've also had to learn how to deal with the massive amount of Western sanctions and the massive amount of Western media lies about Russia. She said Western headlines are nothing but psychological warfare, aimed at keeping Western audiences in the dark and convinced that sanctions are working. So she shot down those lies. I've separately confirmed this with other sources who've told Redacted there are no fuel shortages happening, so separate from the official spokesperson. Then we moved on to talk about Ukraine's massive fighter jet deal. So Zelensky signing deals with France and Sweden. I think yesterday, actually, the French one was a letter of intent or a letter of memorandum to push forward with these hundreds of jets from the French government on top of the roughly 150 or 100 that might come from Sweden specifically. This deal is reportedly, so that's basically like 300 advanced jets, 300 of them. Do they have 300 incredible pilots in Ukraine at this point? I'd like to know that. But anyway, this deal is reportedly close to $200 billion. Ukraine doesn't have that money at all. So the EU is essentially lending Ukraine money, even though everyone knows that Ukraine can't pay it back. And oh, by the way,
and Europe doesn't have it.
Europe can't afford it either. Exactly. When I asked her about this, her answer was blunt. She said these fighter jets will be destroyed the moment they enter Ukraine, period. She basically said, Clayton, why even ask that question? They will be destroyed immediately. And she called it, see, I think, it's like you're talking to a Western journalist here, but I understand it because, we've been covering this for years. I think, the way that she said it was like, hey, the West doesn't understand that this is like an existential threat for us. That money and this is all money and a political stunt designed to make Western leaders look like they're doing something in Ukraine, even though it won't change the facts on the ground at all. She said no amount of new jets will alter the outcome of this war. This was one of the strongest statements that she made. She said, you have to understand this is an existential threat to Russia. This is about our sovereignty. So these jets will be destroyed. Which is kind of, like you're tracking these shipments, right, coming in from Sweden and France. You know where these jets are going to wind up. They're going to be destroyed almost immediately. They have very few air defenses. So this, of course, is an effort to shore up their air defenses in Ukraine. Microplastics infiltrating every part of our lives. Scientists estimate we now consume a credit card's worth of plastic every single week. It's not delicious. You get it through your food, you get it through your water, you get it through your air that you breathe. One study found plastic particles in 100% of the human lung samples that they sampled. Nobody is safe from exposure. But there is good news, because new studies show that, in fact, you can actually take in basic natural products like kimchi and have it eliminated from your body. You can actually get rid of this stuff right from your body. And that's the beauty of trying kimchi. And our friends from Brightcore have created something called Kimchi One, because a lot of people maybe don't like the taste of kimchi. Unlike me, I love it. Philip loves it, but a lot of people are like, I don't like that smell. Now you can take it in supplement form. It's packaged with over 900 probiotic strains unique to kimchi and proven to break down BPA, helping you detox from the inside out. It doesn't just support digestion. It helps protect your cells, your brain, your hormones, and your future. Your body was never designed to handle plastic, but your gut was designed to protect you. So right now you can get 25% off. Just go to mybrightcore.com/redacted. I take it every morning as part of my supplements. Yes, I am. That's why I'm so healthy. You're looking at the model of health right here. And for an even better deal, the best thing is you can call our friends. Imagine that, an American company that actually wants to talk to you on the phone, and you'll get up to 50% off and free shipping. That phone number is 888-404-6312. One of the other things we talked about that I asked the Russian spokesperson today is all about the economy. I asked Maria Zakharova also about the Western narrative that Russia is on the ropes economically. Zakharova pushed back on that hard. She said Russia has stabilized its domestic industries, expanded imports and exports through new partnerships, adapted to sanctions faster than the West expected. And according to her, the storyline that Russia is collapsing is purely for like Western consumption. It's not based in reality. The streets are busy, the stores are busy and full. And she said these narratives are used to basically justify endless spending packages for Ukraine. Her argument that the West needs the public to believe Russia is desperate, basically in order to keep funneling billions of dollars into this massive machine that's not working. Finally, I asked her about the corruption inside of Ukraine. And the thing Western media aggressively avoids talking about, of course, and ignores. Last week, we reported here on the show that Zelensky's inner circle was caught stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from U.S. taxpayers and EU taxpayers. They found cash, huge like boxes of like $100 bills and plastic wrap and euros in the homes, in duffel bags, in these officials' homes who were like the right-hand man of Zelensky. Luxury villas, luxury cars, oligarchs essentially getting richer while the country crumbles. I asked her directly about it. She said Viktor Orban is absolutely right. The Hungarian leader, says Ukraine has become, in her words, a mafia-style money laundering operation. The West is pouring billions into this country, and those billions are being siphoned off through layers of corruption. She described it with an analogy to apples. So I was like, where are you going with this apples analogy? But she said, if you run a market and you've got apples, you start off your day to sell your apples, you know that you've got 100 apples. At the end of the day, you've sold 30 of them. You have an inventory, so you keep track of the products that you're selling. She said the United States and the EU basically aren't counting the apples at all. They have no idea the amount of weapons and money that have flowed into Ukraine through this massive money laundering operation. It's just blind spending, she said. She said the American people have no clue this is happening because the media, of course, refuses to cover it. But she said Viktor Orban of Hungary was correct that Ukraine is essentially a mafia-style money laundering operation. Oh, and she confirmed that Putin has not received any framework for peace talks from the EU or the United States. So nothing right now. So this war continues as we head into the winter months and into Christmas time. So that is our update on that.
I wish U.S. politicians would answer questions as direct as she did. Like, could you imagine any U.S. politician or any U.S. leader answering the way she did? Like, she even brought up Orwell. I was very impressed with her.
Yeah, no, she was not pulling any punches. Go ahead, Philip.
Well, we get things like, well, let me be absolutely clear on this, and then like nothing really of import after that, or we just saw the Pam Bondi, one of my favorites, information came out, we have information.
Yes.
Right. Okay,
We're
great.
gonna have to save that one. I mean, it was gold.
Yeah, information. We've got information. But
Can I have it? No.
But she didn't dance around it when I asked her about these new fighter jets that are going to be delivered to Ukraine. She's like, they will be destroyed immediately. Like, you could just picture a Russian lady saying that. No, they will be destroyed immediately. Why are you even sending them?
Yeah.
Like, I was asking her, like, what does President Putin say about this NATO involvement here? Like, you're facilitating these large weapons deals into Ukraine. Like, what? Oh, they're going to be destroyed immediately. Like, this is an existential threat to our country. In the same we would do if someone was sending, 150 fighter jets into Mexico. Like, we would just bomb the hell out of them. I mean, we're bombing fishing boats. They're thousands of miles away. So that's what we would do. All right. So that was my discussion with Vladimir Putin's spokesperson and the spokesperson from the Kremlin today.